Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining me today. My name is Dana and I am gonna give you guys some tips and tricks for coming up into supported headstand. So first we're gonna test a couple of strength points, I guess, because I don't like to teach kicking up because it's harder to stop the momentum, so you need to be able to have the strength and control to actually stop the legs when kicking up so that you don't go all the way over. And B, it puts more strain or possible strain on the head and neck when you're jumping off the ground as opposed to using your core to help lift your legs. Obviously, without the momentum, you have to use a lot more strength to get up there in the first place, but at the same time, it's easier once you're up to control it if you have that strength. So I'm going to tell you, instead of constantly working on kicking up and falling over, work on building the strength, even if you don't go all the way up into headstand, so that when you and your body are ready to be up there, you'll be able to do it with a little bit of ease and it won't be so challenging. So, if you have a practice, a headstand practice where you've been kicking up, maybe you're finding a little bit of balance, but you're not quite sure about how to get up there, this is going to be great for you. If you're just starting, this is going to be a great way for you to kind of figure out where you're at kind of on the journey to headstand, so to say. So what we're going to do is bring the forearms down to the ground and interlace the hands. We want to make sure, one of the key things is making sure that the elbows don't splay out too far. So I know when you first come into it and you're about to go up, it feels like you have a stronger base if your arms are out wider, but actually your center of gravity is going to be a lot better and a lot stronger if you keep your elbows in so that they're aligned underneath your shoulders, more or less. From there, you're going to bring the top of your head to the mat. Not the forehead, not the back of the head, the very top of the head. The back of the head is going to actively press into the hands and the hands into the head. So that's what this is going to look like. With the knees down, we're just relaxing here, nothing big going on. Okay, so that's step one. Now, before we lift the hips, I want you to think about being able to slide a piece of paper underneath your head. So if you lift your hips and all of the weight collapses on your head and you're feeling tension in your neck, come back down, work on building strength through your shoulders and through your upper body and your arms, because you need that strong foundation in order to keep the weight off the head. So let's come into that setup again. At this point, if you lift the hips just here and you're feeling so much weight on your head that your neck is feeling some tension, come back down, work on building the strength. Just hanging out in that posture right there, that prep pose, and really actively squeezing the shoulders, squeezing the arms. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So if I come up into this prep pose and I'm just being passive about it at this point, all the weight is on my head. But as soon as I squeeze my shoulders, activate my forearms, I don't know if you can see that, but I'm literally lifting my head just slightly off the mat. So in reality, my head is barely on the ground. It's just there for support, no weight, okay? So that's what you want to build up to in the prep pose, being comfortable, just being able to do that without feeling too much weight on the head or on the neck. Once you get to that step, if you're good, instead of kicking up, I want you to try this. So we come up, elbows under the shoulders. From here, draw the low belly in, navel towards the spine as much as possible so that you can walk the feet in until the hips start to stack up over the shoulders. Now from here, if you have the core strength, you might just float, you might just go up, you might surprise yourself. If not, take the feet a little bit wider, maybe mat width apart, rock the hips up, bring one into a tuck, and then see if you can just kind of float the other one up. Into a tuck position, using your core, pressing through the shoulders, okay? And then coming back down, okay? So see if that works for you, coming up into that tuck, or just letting your feet kind of float up. You might surprise yourself if you can get your hips over your shoulders enough. But work on that instead of the kicking, because eventually when your core is strong enough, you will be able to float that other leg up. You'll be in tuck, and you'll have the control to be there. Then you can work on straightening the legs up, playing with them from there. So these are some really good pointers, I think, just in general for headstand. So making sure that your elbows stay aligned with the shoulders. Don't let them splay out too far. Keep them in. Pressing through the shoulders. Really actively press through the shoulders as much as possible. navel to the spine as much as possible. Keep the core super, super strong. And think hips over shoulders. Don't worry about where your feet go. I hope that helps you guys. Leave some comments below if you found this helpful or if you want to see anything else. And thanks so much for joining me today. Namaste.